Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Smile. Today's guest is Andrew Campbell. Andrew is an intuitive and empathic leader in Melbourne's high-end Bayside real estate market, where he's been quietly making waves for over 14 years now. As the founder of boutique agency Hush Property, Andrew brings a fresh, personalised approach to selling prestigious homes with discretion. With high-profile clients like Beck Judd and NBA star Joe Ingles singing his praises, his reputation for excellence speaks for itself. But Andrew's path to success wasn't linear. After the sudden loss of his father at 22, he spent years exploring different ventures before finding his calling in real estate at age 36. His lived experiences now fuel his ability to guide others through life's major transitions with care, insight, and emotional intelligence. Outside the property game, Andrew is deeply committed to holistic well-being. Whether it's kinesiology, cold immersion, crystals, or time with his partner Victoria and their 4 children, and of course little sausage dog Winston, he credits his inner work as the foundation for his outer success. Now, I've known Andrew for, I think it's over 5 years now, because he's actually married to one of my best friends. So I'm incredibly excited to dive into this conversation today. So without any further delay, Andrew, welcome to Behind the Smile. How are you today?
Thank you, Ash. My eyes are already watering.
Oh my goodness.
I'm an emotional person.
What was it about that introduction that really pulled on the heartstrings there?
When you say about my dad, that pulls on the heartstrings straight away. And just hearing your own journey is a bit surreal.
Yeah.
And you know what? Quite humbling to be sitting here. I sort of sit here going, why am I here? I'm sure there'll be someone else.
You have a huge story, and we're really going to dive into that today. And it's also quite a special week for you, isn't it?
Yeah, do you know what? Turning 50.
That's right. Happy birthday.
Yes, that is literally, 24 hours new. I am 50. Do I feel 50? You know, the mind doesn't feel 50.
Great.
Physical sometimes probably feels 50. You hear people say that. But no, I'm feeling super energetic and excited about what's ahead. I've come into this year with a mindset of I'm just getting started. I know people might say that, Ash, and you hear that all the time, but, you know, we'll talk as we go through the podcast on how you do things and whatever else, but I'm a massive believer on language. And this year I had to reconnect with myself and start a language rehearsal in my own mind to know that turning 50 is just the beginning.
What a great mindset to have. Very powerful.
It takes a bit of practice.
Doesn't it though? I think that's with anything in life. You know, you need to have a direction, you need to have a purpose. And if you set your mind to something, then you can achieve it. And often that's the difference between those that do and those that don't, is literally just setting yourself a goal, having a positive mindset and taking the action, I think is really important as well, because you can sit in bed all day, you know, saying affirmations and mantras, but if you're not getting off your ass and actually taking some action, you're not going to see results.
No. Yeah, you've got to do the work. Which you would know
as a real estate agent. We'll get into that for sure, because that is not an easy job or career to have, but it can come with some incredible success. So
yes.
We'll go there in a minute, but before we do, I would love for our audience to get to know you a little bit better. So we're going to start off with some really nice, easy questions. So Andrew, can you tell me, where do you live? What does an average day look like? And what do you do for fun?
Oh, good questions. Where do I live? We live in Bayside with our 4 blended kids. We're a blended family, and I think a lot of your listeners may be new or accustomed to blended families. I think they're quite new now. We live in Bayside. A day for me would be, depending if the kids are there in the morning. If the kids are there, it's a coffee run for Victoria. That's first and foremost. When the kids aren't there, it is basically I try and get up and get myself sorted first.
What does that look like?
Well, it does. It varies. It can be cold water. It could be breath work. You know, probably my favourite is walking my dog Winston and having that moment of a podcast by myself, whether it's 15 minutes or an hour, while everyone's still asleep, just to get my mind in the right spot, because I feel if I'm not right when I'm at home, then I'm not right. And we'll touch on Behind the Smile later on. But I think, I'm trying to...
What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? Well, I watch the Mighty Saints a lot, Ash, and I know that
tragic fans over here. Yes, we do have that bond in common.
Yes, we do. There's a lot of
trauma.
a lot of history at your side. But since it's raw and new, we did beat the Cats on the weekend.
Yes, we did. And I was saying you guys tipped them, and I did it because of the first round. Anyway, we could have a whole podcast on that.
It certainly wasn't on statistics or form. It was basically the heart saying that. But I do, Saints, beloved Saints for fun. Spending a lot of time with the kids and Victoria. Victoria and I love to adventure. So that's fun. You know, we have the kids 50% of the time. Our eldest lives with us full time. So it's constantly something's happening. But Saints to sit up there.
They're a number one.
It's like a meditation watching them.
Do you think so? I think it's more of
for heart palpitation. Yeah, even Saturday
good exercise in nervous system regulation, perhaps.
Yes, yeah, the highs and lows in one game.
That's exactly right. All right, Andrew. I've asked you to bring in a photo today. Now, this photo is from a time in your life where you were hiding behind a smile. So you were presenting one version of yourself to the world around you, but the truth was you were struggling with some stuff on the inside. Can you please describe for our listeners who may not be watching right now but just listening what the photo looks like? For everyone watching along, we're going to bring it up on the screen now. Yeah. And then please go into what was actually happening for you at that time in your life.
Yeah, thanks, Ash. I've been thinking about this photo and I look at it and think pale, puffy, overweight, no energy, robotic. These are just words that come up. And I thought about how I was going to answer this on your podcast, and I thought, how can I help someone else? And it was more sitting here about I had an addiction or some sort of, maybe it is an addiction. It was an addiction to work, and it was an addiction of running away from my current family environment, which kind of gets you emotional because in time you should have done things sooner, because it affected too many in my past relationship. And I look at people now and I hear people and they're stuck in a relationship. And let's be raw with it. That photo was about I was unhappy in my relationship. I was unhappy at work. I wasn't giving time to my kids. That's what gets me emotional because I just worked. I went to work at 5 a.m. and came home at 8. That was it.
That was pretty much 6-7 days a week, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I had to, starting real estate at 36. So that photo just came up when I was looking at photos and I went, I wasn't happy then. And
do you think you knew at the time that you were unhappy, or was it just a subconscious, I've got to keep turning the wheels, I've got to succeed?
Do you know what? Now that I know myself better, intuitively, I wasn't. And you could hear that, but you would close the door and just go, no, everything's fine, just got to keep going. Yeah, get to work. Yeah, get home, do that, do this, do that. Yeah, so that was a time, look, there's been darker times in my life, as in when Dad died and whatever else, but that was just a pivotal moment of ripping the Band-Aid off and speaking up. Like I look at it from a male point of view, in relationships that males need to sometimes can feel, this might sound harsh, but trapped in a relationship. And I felt like I had nowhere to go. So I was just there. And nothing was enjoyable. Life wasn't great. And, you made good income and that sort of fixed all the problems. But they become bigger problems.
Well, you almost get, I imagine, a little bit addicted to the highs and lows of real estate. If you've got that kind of tendency, you have a big sale, you have this big amount of money come in and it's like, yes. And then
you spend it.
And then you don't know if that next sale is coming in next month. So you've got to get back on the hamster wheel and go again.
Yeah. It's a cutthroat industry, I must admit. Yeah. And that's why I said to you before, it's a daily sort of 1%ers or triggers to your mind that you've got to get up and I always go back to 1%ers within myself and go, right, what did I do well? I go back if I'm not doing that again for work. But the behind the smile, that photo, that was just, I look happy, like you're there with your 2 dogs that we don't have anymore. And that was done for the company that I used to work for, who are a great company. And I look at that too and think, I wasn't happy working there. Like I was doing well and making sales and all that, but it wasn't the real Andrew. So, yeah, you're right. I hid behind the smile.
And did you? I'm just wondering because for me, when I was at that point where I was, had my dream job, I owned my own home, I was married. I often describe it as I was ticking all of life's boxes, and from the outside looking in, everybody would have thought, "Wow, she's got it all. Like she's got this amazing life." And internally, I knew that wasn't true. I felt like the failure. Like I couldn't work out what was wrong with me, that all of the stuff that society tells me is going to make me happy wasn't making me happy. Do you feel like you relate to that?
Yeah, so much. Like that is, yeah, you say that so well because I look at that and go, yeah, driving a nice car, bills being paid, everyone, oh, you're a director, you're an owner, or you do, yeah. But is that authentic, true Andrew? No. Not now. Not now knowing what I know.
Yeah.
And it takes a bit to get to there.
And just one more thing that I want to understand about for people who are listening who are maybe in a similar position at the moment but are finding it hard to find the words to describe the internal disconnect, what did it feel like for you? What was the manifestation of that?
Oh, I think I knew that I wasn't happy where I was, relationship and work, but I didn't have the strength to do anything. I felt vulnerable. I felt insecure. Like, oh, how do I get out? Oh, do I need to get out? Oh, yeah, no, yeah. And that constant mindset daily, like when you wake up, when you get home, it was constant that you just didn't know where to turn or what to do. And I reckon I just blocked it out and went to work because I was good at work. So I thought, oh, well, I fell in love. My lover was work.
Yeah.
Work and then my kids and the dog, and the family relationship was just in existence.
Yeah, it just kind of was. Okay, thank you for sharing that. I want to take a little bit of a journey back now, and then we'll make our way back to the present day if that's okay. But I'd love for our audience to get to understand a little bit more about little Andrew. What were you like as a child growing up? Tell me about that.
Oh, little Andrew, behind the smile, Ash. Little Andrew has battled with fat boy Andrew. So you probably didn't know that, but I was a little fat, chubby kid at school, one that would never take his top off. That probably gets me. Because I battled with, in my head, about being overweight, people looking at me and, thinking, oh, he's that fat kid. And, I grew up in a rich family and well-to-do and driven to school in nice cars, but my mindset would get out of the car and think, Dad, fuck off. Don't drive that car near the school. I'm fat. And, it was a difficult time. Yeah, that's quite raw because that hasn't hit me for a long time. But, yeah, I forget even what you asked me then.
Yeah, it's hit a spot and it's okay. We feel it. We feel it to heal it.
You're right. You're right with that. I've had to deal with a little fat boy, and the little fat boy would always look for someone to help him. Oh, you got to, where's that help? But I've learnt over the journey that the little fat boy, I'm squashed away and I can love myself. And, it's about language to your own head about being better. So,
did you have friends at school?
Yeah, geez, you hit another good note there. I blame Mum. Mum's still alive, so I blame her for this, and she knows this. But year 5, I went from one school to another, and I was meant to go to year 6, and Mum and Dad at the time thought my academic level wasn't up to speed, so they kept me in year 5 but changed schools. So each lunchtime I would walk out and go, oh, all my friends are to the left in year 6 and all the friends that I'm meant to connect with are in year 5 on the right. Who do I hang with? So I'd hang half with lunchtime with one group, half with the other, and I never felt like I fitted in. And I was overweight and chubby, and that if I look back on that, I think that was the worst thing my mum and dad could have done. And it affected me. Well, I allowed it to affect me as well.
And your mum was quite unwell when you were growing up.
Yeah, mum suffered from bipolar. I think I remember 8 months out of the 12 a year, I would visit her at the Richmond mental clinic or like I didn't look at it as a healthy environment. I'd walk in there and there were people that were having electric shock treatment, and, you know, so 8 months of the year I would live in other houses because Dad worked with parents that would take us to school, and that was just the norm of Mum living in a clinic.
Did you understand at the time? Like, I can't imagine as a child you'd have the intellectual awareness to understand, like, my mum is sick, rather than the childhood view, which I imagine would be my mum's abandoning me.
Yeah, that's I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point about Mum abandoning. No, I think it was just normal. Like, oh yeah, Mum's in hospital. Oh yeah, we've got to go visit her after school. And, you know, you sort of, I feel the trait that I was talking about before behind the smile with my picture is sort of like my dad that was me as my dad, because my dad just worked. And I reckon he covered up and paid, you know, there was just Mum's in the clinic, good. He could work, the kids could run. And then Mum would get better, then she'd come home, then she wouldn't. Yeah, it was a tough journey when I think of it. I don't think of it too much anymore because Mum's great now. But I think of what I could have done to help. Like, I don't appreciate those sort of clinics. I look at the clinic should be somewhere where it's earthing and grass and it's beautiful colours and it's in happy incense and smells and environment to lift the mood. Not like I used to walk in there thinking, freaking hell, I'm in here with a zoo. Like, and no disrespect to people, it was bizarre. And for young kids to see that and feel it, it wasn't a good place, no.
And so do you feel like your dad, I mean, I'm putting the pieces together, and it's not surprising me that it sounds like he may have been a bit of a workaholic as well.
Oh, yeah. And look, Dad died at 51. I'm 50 yesterday. So it's always in the back of my head. And I guess that's why, like, if you put a picture of my dad beside me now at 51, he was pale, big, overweight, bloated, totally different. So I'm now subconsciously or consciously totally reverting the other way. Like,
you don't want to have that same.
No. So yeah, I do earth, I do breathe, I infrared sauna, cold plunge, all that stuff. And I probably am subconsciously doing it more because of what happened to my dad at 51, and that's too young. Like,
and for you to be 22 to lose your father is also incredibly young.
Yeah, 22, geez.
How do you think that grief shaped the person that you became and the man that you are today, the journey that you went on?
It was very difficult, and I sympathise with anyone that loses a parent or anyone that loses someone young and they've got that journey ahead of them. It's a daily battle. Like, I still think of my dad today. Like, you still have moments when you think of him.
And memories and occasions like your wedding recently.
Yeah. But it's harder than you think. Like, sometimes I think, how did I get through that? Like,
how did you get through it?
I remember Ash, Dad died. He had cancer, you know, and he died in 8 months. And I remember sitting in the house with Mum and my sister Rachel, and there was a phone bill on the dining room table. And I went, oh, Mum, what's that? And I was 22. She said, oh, it's a phone bill, I think.
Wow.
So my dad covered everything for us. Phone bill, like everything. Everything was paid for, everything was sorted. But in retrospect, I wish he had have done it the other way round and taught me, because he didn't. He taught me with love and appreciation and taking us around the world, all that crap, right? Where I would have loved an extra 10 years of health. Yeah, at 22 to go, what's a phone bill? I look back at that and think, and you know what? Still learning the lessons today until I met your beautiful friend, Victoria, who's grounded me and made me sort of balance that, because I want to give still. Victoria, she can be a little bit witchy, maybe is the right word, at times, where she's a bit more, no, they've got to learn. So in a good way.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to fall off the earth and one of the kids go, what's a phone bill? Or, because that's not normal.
No.
Is it not normal, or is it, it's hard at 22 to go, oh, how do you make money? I thought it just came out of the fridge and it came out of the drawer and it keeps coming.
Yeah, I was exactly the same.
Yeah, I bet you resonate with some things I may be saying.
Yeah, I went to my 20-year high school reunion last week.
I did see a photo.
Firstly, 20 years. That was terrifying. But I was having this conversation with a couple of the girls. When I went to university at 21, because I didn't go straight out of school, I wanted to travel and work and do all those things. And I went to RMIT, which is a university here in Melbourne that's in the city, and all of the classes are all over the city. I didn't know how to get into the city using public transport at the age of 21.
Yeah.
Like all of these really simple life skills that I think growing up in an insular environment, you're not taught those skills, and then you are sometimes, I wouldn't say it's a disadvantage, but there are basic life skills, saving money, learning the value of money, so important. And yet, and I'm not a parent, but I observe my beautiful friends parenting their children, and I see that it is not easy to be firm and to have discipline. And it's almost like your job is not to be their best friend.
Yeah,
your job is to guide them. Yeah, well, especially when you want them to love you, and there may even be a part of you that wants the external validation. It is really hard.
It is, and when you grow up that way, you only know that way.
You only know what you know.
Yeah. And then when you have a beautiful partner like Victoria, who's my wife now, she really balances that aspect. And then I balance it back a bit. I'm like, come on, just a little bit nice. So we have a band. I'm making her sound really evil, aren't I?
No, we know she's wonderful.
She's throwing daggers at me.
She is. She's behind the camera right now giving us glares. No, she's not. Oh, now we've got the roof again. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so tell me, 22 years of age, you lose your father. Was there any part of you, were you going to say something?
I can be as raw as you want.
Let's do it.
Yeah. At 22, left money, thinking the world is, arrogant, thinking the world, you're better than the world.
Were you still chubby at this stage?
No. Chubby was probably, from memories, 13 to 15.
Okay.
And then go through puberty and all that, you sort of think, oh, there's girls around. Oh, okay, I got to look good. Mm-hmm. So I had the willpower to change that, which I did. But
so you're looking good, 22, just inherited a lot of money, probably angry at the world, thinking it's not fair.
Oh, that's just good. That's a great point. I hated God. Is there a God? All that kind of stuff would go through my head. I call this work or clubbing. Clubbing was a working for me. Honestly, I would club from Thursday to Sunday or Monday, and I did that for 3 to 5 years straight and was lost.
So
totally lost.
Assuming that drugs and alcohol played a part in that?
Massively. And I don't shy away from explaining that or telling that or being open about that. I think if I wasn't being truthful or raw about that, that's hiding behind the smile, like as you say. But yeah, that was, I look back on that now, and that was trying to forget everything. Just forget the world, forget, the money will last forever and, dad's gone, but if you party. So then I used to live in St Kilda, and then I used to walk from Monday to Thursday. I used to do 2 laps of Albert Park Lake a day or 4, just to get my mindset right for each day until Thursday. And then it was, okay, we're good, we go again. And I didn't work, and I did nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. And I look back at that, and do I regret that? Probably. Financially, should have been smarter with the money, should have done things better. But that's what's helped shape me where I am now.
It's all part of your story.
Yep.
Yeah.
So do you regret it? Yeah. But you also, that was just a moment in life that we got through. Yeah. And even mum, I remember mum so dad dies, then I have to find mum 3 times, tried to kill herself, that I had to pick her up off the floor in her house or bedroom, medication, whatever else. So Rach and I are 22 and 20. So then we send mum over to London for a year to live over there in a clinic called the Priory, I think it was, who turned her into earthing, grass, gluten-free, went from 20 pills to 3 a day.
Wow.
But we lose dad, then we lose mum for a year, and we're running around as 2 teenage kids full of money, don't work, and then slowly get into property and real estate, buying one here, buying there, renovate this, do that as a job. Was it a job? No, you didn't work full time, but that was different. Yeah.
Can we go back a second? what you just shared about your mum is pretty huge, and to be that young, to have the sole responsibility, you and your sister, of getting her well. I want to know, do you hold any resentment for that period of your life, or do you have an understanding that mental illness is not a choice?
You ask some good questions. Jeez. Do I resent? And I'm always raw with mum, and she. Do I resent her sometimes of not being a mother? Maybe, yeah. It's a tough one with the mental illness, because I've grown up on a side of you pop a pill and that fixes your depression, and I see that it never fixed mum's depression. From, seeing her as a vegetable state with electric shock therapy and all these medications. Oh, we'll just up it, we'll down it, we'll up it, it'll balance out. And I'm like, really? Mm. And then we send her away for a year, and we didn't see her for a year. Why her two kids who lost their dad are running around thinking, I don't know what we're thinking, but and then come back gluten-free, balanced, and so I see both sides, right? So I understand there's some chemical imbalance in people's mindsets. I get that. But I also think if we go down the natural way and the diet or the gut health way, I think that has more profound effects. That's just my view.
That's great. And it's, you've had that lived experience, and I know that you apply a lot of those learnings into your own life today, which is almost, and we will never know whether that's worked really well as a preventative for you to not go down that path, because you've chosen to do that. Can you help me piece together the timing between, say, 27 to 36? There's about a 9-year gap there, which we haven't covered yet, because I know that you got into the real estate game at 36, but what did that decade look like?
Geez, I was a personal trainer.
Right.
Yeah, and I did that, and I enjoyed it, and I liked, and I felt like I was constantly coaching people's mindsets more than training them.
Very much.
And then I enjoyed it, but I got to a point where I was like, really, I need more from this. I just wanted more. And growing up with my dad's business, my head is in tune to bigger and more, and I wanted more. So I then decided to open a fruit and vegetable business, which was on Glen Huntley Road in Caulfield. So we had an organic fruit shop and fruit store, and then out the back we supplied fruit and veg to Donovan's, Pantry, Stokehouse.
Wow.
Some names just for a period of time. And then I had a friend in business who unfortunately took me for money. And that ended sharply, and I realised, I look at that and think intuition told me that something wasn't right with funds and stuff going on. So that sort of ended when I was 36, and I had nothing. I was renting with my mother, and I was like, what do I do? I was like, I like houses. So I went and saw Mark Earl from Buxton in Sandringham and said, I want a job. And he said, I haven't got one. I said, put me in front of you for 2 hours, and here we are. Maybe 14 years later, I'm still in real estate. So...
Wow.
That's a short.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. What was it about real estate that captured you? Apart from the awesome checks.
Do you know what? At the start it was like, I want to sell houses or big houses. And the money, you can earn a lot of money in real estate for sure. I don't know if that's a good driver, but the drive was always just to be just like a win or be competitive against your competition. I started in Sandringham, and then, I was fortunate enough to grow up in a big house when Dad was alive, like 2.5 acres, tennis court, pool, all this 100 square house. So my ability to know that kind of size of house, I think, has helped me travelling into the Brighton market, because I feel comfortable in those homes. When I go into a smaller unit, which is strata titled and all that sort of stuff, I get very bogged down, like I don't get it. That's not arrogance, it's just more that I feel more comfortable in a bigger house. Yeah, I don't know. So I gravitated towards that, and it just feels right.
Why do you think, I know that there's a lot of people that want to work in real estate. What do you think it is about you that allowed you to achieve such great success in relatively a short amount of time?
I don't think I had a choice, was one thing. At 36, no money, renting with your mother and 2 kids and not in a happy environment. I just had to do what it takes. Like, as I said, start at 5, finish at 8. First in, last to leave. And that was robotic and repetitive for 6-7 years. Yeah. That's what I had to do. I also had the mindset of, okay, I'm starting at 36. In my head was late, but I'm turning 50 yesterday. I'm thinking, now I'm young. Yeah. I'm ready to go. And I mean that. Like, people, I think, in real estate really start, the 15, 20 years, they really are known in our industry. But I took a piece from each person around a boardroom table when I was there at Buxton when I started, and went, right, what can I take from each one of them, apply it to myself in my way, and go faster. So I was trying to shortcut as much as I could. And I'm still trying to do that now, obviously, with our new brand with Victoria at Hush, and I'm still trying to work out how I can get ahead. So always just thinking, Ash.
The wheels are always turning.
Yes. And I blame Dad for that, probably, in a good way.
It's a good trait to inherit.
Yes, it was, but also with balance.
Yeah, definitely. What is something that people would not have known about you during that time where you were climbing and achieving such great success?
They would look at me and say, oh, he's selling and he's doing really well. And I remember filling up the car with $20 of petrol, because that's all I could afford. And I thought, shit, $20. No, maybe I'll do 15, because 5 will get me on Wednesday. And that just sent shivers through me, because that's what I had to do. And that's with the 2 kids and renting and, some moments, Victoria, who's sitting behind the camera, we have moments together now where we think, right, we can't spend here, we've got to do that. It's sort of like leaving a big empire at Marshall White, where we were and had a great time, and it was a great brand, and that taught us a lot of things. I'm probably crossing over. I'm trying to keep my mindset on the right track here. What I was saying is, it feels like I've gone backwards financially because you leave there. Which we have, and we're sort of starting again. That's what triggered my mind then, about $20 in the car for petrol. It's not as bad as that, but you go from in a great company and brand, and you resign, and then you're like, oh, shit, we're going to do it ourselves.
It's a huge move.
It is a huge move. The more I think about it, some days I go, we've taken on a lot.
Yeah.
The comfortability of staying there or staying in another brand, and this leads to Behind the Smile, would be still Behind the Smile. It'd be, you're just staying there because they can pay you well, you get equity. But is that really Andrew? No. Andrew doesn't wear a tie anymore, and Andrew feels more comfortable like this. So I thought, fuck it, just let's leave.
Yeah. You copped a lot of criticism with that decision to leave. How have you handled that over the past few years? Because it's come from all areas and all angles, and I've got another question about then going onto reality TV, and I'm sure there was a whole nother layer of criticism that came with that. But let's just start with, how did you continue to show up every day and I guess be in this area? You didn't go running, you didn't move to another suburb, like you're here and you're living your truth. Like, how did you manage that? Because for somebody who likes people to like them,
it feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like you stuck your head out and it kind of got.
Yeah, do you know what? When I look back and you tell me that, I think, geez, we did cop a lot of shit. And I don't know, do us Australians have that tall poppy syndrome? Oh, they're doing well, now cut them down. Like, I have this sheet beside me, Ash, which we'll pull out at some time through our little podcast
here. We can pull it out right now if you want it.
But this probably leads into what you just asked me about, how did I get through it? And it was one of your other girlfriends that you and Victoria know told me to listen to a podcast. I was driving with Victoria the other day and she goes, I listened to this podcast. Total honesty, I thought, I don't want to listen to your female podcast. Oh my God, like seriously, you're going to make me listen to female stuff? That's what I did think, honestly. I'm being raw.
I love your honesty.
I was driving and I'm like, we've got an hour. It was the most profound podcast I've listened to. And the two things I took out of it, and I sent them to you, was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Mel Robbins.
Yeah. And I'm obsessed with that. And that I think I was using, but not to get the countdown bit. Mm-hmm. Now I'm like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Got to make that phone call. Got to get up. Don't procrastinate. And the other one is, and this goes back to, I'll pull that out in a second, but how you said to me, how did I get through the criticism? And the other one she says is let them. So I say a lot in my head now is, they're criticising you. Let them. Just move on. Mm-hmm. Let them. And I take a breath and I go, something happens with Victoria and I in our blended family situation. We go, let them. Take a breath, it's not us, and move in the pathway and keep going where we're going. Like as I said to you, the easiest thing to do was stay where we were. And that, if I was staying where we weren't happy, we didn't enjoy it anymore, and that's fine. Everyone has their level, and it's like footy players, they move from club to club and get reinvigorated and whatever else. But yeah, so they're two profound things. But my team sheet here.
All right, so for people who are listening and not watching right now, I do encourage you to watch this on video, though. It's quite amazing.
Well, I don't know if the artwork is going to come up to scratch.
We're watching now. Did Mimi draw this, or was this Andrew's masterpiece?
Mia didn't help me, but It looks like Mia's, doesn't it? But I drew a stick figure of myself, and I call it AC and his team.
I love this.
So, and I put it up on the wall at home. And I also I mainly do it for Andrew, for myself, and it's a little mind check or whatever else. If I'm not, because I can tell you I'm doing this every day, and that's bullshit. Because
totally.
I don't do it every day, and
No.
I think human nature is you go, oh well, I've got to do this and I do that, but I also put it up so the kids see it.
Yeah,
right.
wow.
And I was listening to Jim Rohn podcast this morning, and Jim Rohn, I don't know if anyone's heard of him. He was one of Tony Robbins. He's passed on and whatever else, but it's one of the most profound things I teach the kids is language and self-talk. Like, I don't care if the kids say shit or fuck. I care if the kids say, I can't, and they say, I'm scared, or they say, oh, I'm fear. Like, that gets to me. And I'm still learning today, Ash, why I sit here beside you. Like, I listened to that podcast this morning. Well, it's self-talk language, right? Okay, you are the greatest agent. And that's not ego. You are fit. You are this side
affirmation.
Yep. Instead of being a little fat boy going, oh, I'm fat, I can't do anything like that. What I was doing. Anyway, this may get a prize for Archibald.
I mean, it could. I don't know. This is
anyway. That's my little drawing, Ash.
So talk me through.
Floor,
we can look at it on the floor. Oh, you sure you don't want a blue jacket? Okay, we've got the poster up now, and what we are looking at here is AC and his team. So you mentioned positive language and self-talk. We've covered that. Talk to me about the cold water, the breath work, the sauna, and exercise.
Do you know what? Thanks, H. This little diagram is so simple, but I think it's very effective. And I did this years ago when I heard, and I watched, I don't love cars. I don't even watch the Formula One, but I look at the Formula One car and I think, goes into the pits and it's got 10 people working on him or her, the car. And I think 10 people, call it 10, there's a lot more than 10. So I look at myself and go, well, I need that kind of team around me to keep through each day, to keep through life and daily battles. So that's my little team up there that I look at. Yep, there's cold water, breathing,
You've got an
sauna.
ice bath at your home.
Yes, I've got an ice bath at home.
How often do you do that?
I would say 3 or 4 times a week.
Yep.
But if I don't do that, it's just cold shower. I never have. I have a hot shower before bed. That's it. But otherwise, it is cold shower and cold. But the other thing, the infrared sauna, my phone doesn't enjoy it because I sit in there for 40 minutes and the phone starts to die a little bit.
Cooks.
But, yeah, it cooks. But the sauna I find is a good, really deep. I like the cold and the hot, I think. But if you look at that diagram, it's not just. It's also about gut health. And I mentioned gut health because I don't think in the last 2 years I'd have to call Ash and say, hey, Ash, I can't do the podcast today because I'm run down or sick. Yeah. I haven't been sick. I can't even remember. Like, you have a sniffle or...
What are these pods?
The pods.
I know I've heard you talk about them before, but I don't understand what they are.
Yeah, so another real estate agent, Matt Steinwade, who's a wonderful, I think, person to follow in the industry and changed his life around. He started eating the pods. They're like little pucks of total organic berries that feed the microbiome in the gut and make it heal and grow.
Amazing.
That's in short. Now, I've been doing that for 2 years, and I noticed with Victoria that all her girlfriends would ring her and say, oh, the kids are sick, and oh, we've got the sniffles. And I'm like, see, there's another one. So it's done something to my gut. Now, Andrew also does like to go out with Victoria and have a nice meal and a glass of wine. So I can't say I'm perfect because I'm not.
It's okay.
But anyway, that I just sort of bringing that in, Ash, because I thought if I put that up at home, if it helps the kids or if it helps someone else, like I said to you before about Behind the Smile, if someone can hear this and they listen to it and go, shit, I'm stuck in my relationship and life isn't good. What do I do? Well, I'm like, fucking get out of there. I'm more brutal now on it. Like I'm like rip Band-Aid off, go. I don't care if you've been there 20 years or one, and I was in a 20-year relationship and maybe I shouldn't have been there for 10. Like that's a long time of life where you haven't got life.
I completely agree. If you are in a position where you know that you're not happy, no one is coming to save you. You have to, like for me, when I made the decision to firstly quit drinking, which was the scariest, hardest thing I've ever done, then leave my marriage, then move back to Melbourne, like all of these terrifying decisions. But I knew that it was in alignment with where I needed to be. I knew that my greater purpose.
But that's a great strength in itself, isn't it? Knowing that alignment and trusting that.
Exactly right.
Because like I did, and I felt like, right, got to leave Marshall White. I've got to leave the marriage. I've got to start our own journey. And if you, like you just said about yourself, if you feel that, you've got to follow that intuition. Too many people feel it and go,
or don't feel it at all because they keep running. And if you stay on the hamster wheel, if you don't create the space to stop, to pause, to meditate, to check in, then that is where 5 years becomes 10, becomes 15. And then you wake up one day and you're like, what the fuck? Like this is the world that I'm living in right now is nothing that I chose.
Yeah.
It's just happened. Okay, one more that I'm really curious about here is your daily earthing practice and the crystals.
You're going to ask me what crystals these are in my pocket. I have 4 crystals, but I bought 2. And Janelle, my kinesiology healer, who's been amazing, I couldn't tell you their names.
Same, I've got so many crystals.
I honestly don't know their names. But I've got 4 at home, and I look at them each morning and go, right, which one gravitates to me?
Beautiful, because they're energy.
Yeah, and I go, right, those 2, and these 2 sat in my pocket, more probably to get sales done in real estate at the minute, to pay the bills. Yeah, but the earthing of the grass part, I do spend a lot of time in my bare feet. If I'm at home working with Victoria, I sit, and as an agent, you sit on the phone a lot. I sit out on the grass with my feet on the grass.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I just find, does it give you this electronic field of energy straight away? No, I don't think. But I think it just centers me a bit more. And the more I've done it, the more I want it. It's like the cold therapy. The more you have a cold shower, the more you sort of want it. It's like, it's a habit.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. It's something that I try to do because my office is upstairs, as you know, and I can be in there I go into a bit of a vortex and I can be in there for hours, and then I'll realize and when I get myself up, I make sure I go outside and, I go to the park out the back and I get my feet in the grass, and it makes such a difference to almost getting rid of the messy energy is how I describe it, and just getting a bit of clarity.
Yeah, you can feel reconnected to yourself.
Yes, I love that. That's exactly right. Okay, Andrew, tell me about...
All the hard stuff are gone.
We're not done yet. I want to know what influenced you to make the decision to star in a reality TV show? And what was that experience like?
Hey, that's a good question. So I did get asked after leaving where we were, Marshall White, and they don't like doing the TV shows, and that's fair enough. They did ask me to do a pilot for a show, and I went, yeah, okay. So I went and did this pilot in South Bank and in an apartment, and the producer said, "Thank you for that, mate. You're shit. Go home." And I went, "Great." So full ego boost, Ash. It was lovely. So I went home to Victoria and she said, "How did you go?" And I said, "I think we'll stick to real estate because that certainly didn't go down too well." And then 3 weeks later, he called me back. His name's Gary, and Gary said, "Andrew, can you do that again?" I said, "Yes." In fairness to myself, I had no idea what I was trying to do. When I was a little kid, you were often asked, "What are you going to do when you grow up?" And I said, "I'm going to go and be in Hollywood." And no one, Victoria knows that, but it's like, yeah, I often had that thought. I don't know why, not ego, just, I don't know. And then I went back and did this take again, and he said, "All right, you got the job." And I went, "Oh, shit, what happens now?" And we also did it. It was a reality TV show. There was probably things thrown at me in the show that were very hard, confronting, challenging to deal with. I think I handled it well, and I was honest and raw.
Can you go a bit more into that? What were some of the things that came up?
Like you said about people like, why did you leave Marshall White? Because people thought, there's so many rumours and innuendo and people saying, "Oh, we got rid of you at Marshall White." Anyway, it was just circumstance, and I thought the show brought it up in a moment where it wasn't sort of needed. But I think Victoria and I spoke about why we did it, and it was more to brand our brand Hush, right? I think you get a lot of criticism, Ash, and you think, well, let them. I don't care. I really don't care what people think of me. I only care about my true inner circle, and making sure we're healthy, and everything else should take care of itself. And the show went on. It's actually season 1 gets aired on Netflix in June, July this year.
Oh, wow.
I know. And then if that gets some good viewers, I'm assuming, then either Netflix or Channel 9 will take season 2. That's how it's sort of planning out. Would we do season 2? I think we would, but we would do it in a more way with like bigger houses and bigger expectations. I think we could learn a lot. I did enjoy it though. That's
great. Sometimes you do just have to take a bit of a risk, right? And
I know, but it was taking a risk. I took a risk. Even leaving Marshall White, and I've referenced Marshall White a lot, and they've been great, but leaving that brand, the biggest brand in Melbourne, to walk in and start your own is quite ballsy.
Scary.
And risky. But I love the challenge. I do. It's not about the money. I think I'm a big believer if you do everything right, the money will come, and that'll keep flowing in, and we'll sort through that. But I think I've just got this drive in me about what to do with the brand, and Victoria's a big part of that. She's very creative, and we need to get a PA. So if anyone's listening, we need a PA. She'll hate that because she doesn't want to spend money, but we do because she's so creative. I need to get her being more creative.
I love it. It doesn't surprise me, that you said that when I was little, I wanted to be a Hollywood star, because a lot of the time when you grow up as a child not feeling enough, you seek to have a job or a title in life that guarantees you that adoration. And often, I've spoken to people I know who have become actors or performers, and there was always that undercurrent of not enoughness and needing that external validation from the world around them. Is that something that you resonate with?
Yeah, I've never looked at it like that ever, but you've nailed it, Ash. If I look back at that, chubby, fat, insecure, not enough, not, mum, bipolar, at a clinic, dad, workaholic, never at home. So you're probably desiring and wanting more for your own ego. I've never thought about it like that. Hollywood's ready if you are there and listening. Who knows?
Andrew is taking roles. Oh, my goodness. Do you feel like you are more comfortable in your skin today?
Yes.
Why?
Probably because of the work I've done on myself. It goes probably back to when Dad died at 22. I've seen a life coach or mind coach or hypnotherapist every second week for 28 years.
Wow.
I've done that. And you know what? We leave this podcast today and his name is Terry, like my dad's name, and he's coming to our house basically to grill Victoria and I to get the business ramping up a bit more. So that's happening today after here.
I love that. So you keep investing in yourself.
Yeah. So since Dad passed away, I've invested in him, in myself, to make me better. And that probably comes to the diagram here, and his name's up there, but I'm a massive believer that I'm only more comfortable because I put the work in. If I didn't put the work in, God, who knows where I'd be.
Have there been days or periods of time over the last 5 years where you haven't wanted to put the work in? You know, when it does feel like the world is against you, or when you've had your back up against the wall, or like the business is, you know, really in its early infancy and it's hard to keep showing up every day. Has there ever been a moment where you've gone, I'm done?
Good question. Not I'm done, but I just need a moment. I just need, and again, this isn't arrogance, but I just have a feeling of intuitivity about this brand. Like it's called, I'm referencing our business now, it's called Hush Property, and it was done because we used to sell a lot off market. But I feel like this brand is taking a different angle. It's sort of contradicting itself. But keep it on the quiet, but the brand I find is quite sexy and a bit cool, maybe edgy for real estate. No, I had certainly hard ash financially, emotionally and all that, but I just need a moment. I just need to reset myself, whether that's jumping in the cold or the sauna or walking the dog and doing the 1%ers that are on that sheet. I reset and go, no, you go again. I just have to get up, go again. There's no choice. There's no, you know, there's been difficult times with my daughter, and, you know, you talk about 5 years ago, COVID, divorced, your daughter goes through the most difficult time in her life at 16. It was a bit that was one of the most difficult times as a father, and she was so beautiful yesterday that she did so much for me on my 50th, that she gave me a profound sort of book, and she wrote a message to me that, you know, basically I saved her life. Do you know what? It just makes me drive more. I just want to get out of this seat and fucking go. Like, in a nice way. Like, I love life now. I'm just like, yeah, what can we do today? Like, I get that excited about tonight. What's happening tonight? Well, I don't know. I might have a glass of wine with Victoria, or I might tell her no wine tonight and she will shoot me. But I just love every second now. It's weird. 50, I don't know.
I love that.
Crapping on now.
No, I love that. And I love that you said, you know, 50, you feel like at 50 you're just getting started. So what does the next 5 years look like?
Oh, do you know what? It's a good question, but I don't really go 5 years ahead. I listened to your beautiful podcast the other day with Ryan Trainer, who actually is a past client of ours as well. And he sort of forecasted ahead, and he's very academic like that, and I think I can't even spell or write. So, and I draw stick figures. So I try and stay in the now as much as I can. Forecasting forward is probably Victoria's strength, you know, from a financial budget point of view. I want a lot more though. Yeah, and what is a lot more?
Yeah, what is a lot more? Like, because I have a feeling when you say a lot more, you don't mean a mansion, a holiday house. Maybe you do, but like, what does success mean to you now at 50 years of age?
Yeah, well, 50 years of age, and people think you'd be in a high-end restaurant popping, you know, champagne and having a big party. But the best thing about the weekend and turning 50 was just having a grounded family around and doing nothing, just for the kids. What is a lot more? It's being present with my current 6, and my current 6 are Victoria and the 4 kids. And just giving as much as I can to them, because I'm a big believer if I get all that right, everything else will come. You know, I'm even going camping in a motorhome.
Oh, I've seen the motorhome.
With Victoria. You know, I'm 2 camping trips coming up, one with the kids and one with the wife now, but I much love the 5-star sort of concierge button style.
Again, we share that in common.
Yes. So maybe we have to get Victoria across the other line.
Oh my goodness, I'm sure you're going to have a great time. I can't wait to see the photos and the videos and the updates. Andrew, I've got one final question for you today, and it's a question that I ask every guest at the end of our show. And that question is, What are your 3 non-negotiables? I feel like we've covered a lot today, but you're only allowed to choose 3 now. What are your 3 non-negotiables that allow you to show up and live your life today happy, authentic and free?
The first one that comes to mind right now, and you'd be saying whatever comes to mind, Andrew, speak it, would be work on yourself first in the morning.
Love that.
If that's 10 seconds or 1 hour, like my coach taught me once, look in the mirror and say, Andrew, I love you and proud of you, and I try and instill that on the kids. So if there's a moment in the morning where they can grab for yourself, do that first, because then, and that's not selfish. I think that's being actually helpful to your partner or your family, because then you are a better person. Is that 1 or 3?
That's 1, my friend.
1. 2. I think I touched on being more present to my inner 6. Yeah, I love the blended family we have, and it's not been easy, but it's now fun. It's now getting really fun. Like the 18-year-old's fun with it now, and it's quite cool. Mia, the youngest one's helped us to never have another one. Thank God.
She's amazing. They're all amazing.
they're
Your
all so
children are beautiful.
different,
Yeah.
and Harrison and Maisie, yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Being more present with them. So work on yourself first.
Yep.
Be more present with your core family, and the third one, and they're probably basic stuff, but just keep working on yourself. Like, it's a daily effort sometimes, and it's a daily or an hourly thing where you might sabotage your own head and go, oh, geez, I haven't made enough calls. I haven't done that. Back, Andrew, you're good, you're okay, and keep growing and keep moving ahead.
It sounds like you've got a lot of compassion for the man that you are today.
Yeah, I think so. And I really I love your, you know what, Ash, since you asked me to come on here, Behind the Smile, I really think it's an amazing branding name, or you need to dive into more people behind the smile. And I think if this podcast can help someone, male or female, that are sitting at home thinking, geez, I've got to rip the Band-Aid off. And there's so much in life to love and live. Like, it's ballsy to do it, but when you do it,
you won't regret it.
Never.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Andrew. We say here on Behind the Smile that when we recover loudly, no one needs suffering in silence. So I cannot thank you enough for being here today. And before we wrap up, if people want to find out more about Hush, track you down, where should they go?
Instagram's probably the number one, hushproperty.com.au, but Instagram on my name, Andrew Campbell.
Perfect. I'll make sure I pop that in the episode show notes. My absolute pleasure. It's been a joy to talk to you, and happy birthday.
Oh, thanks, Ash.